Okay. All right, Dr. Wala, you can turn on your video now. All right, ladies, right? As I told you people that we select the best, the very best of people for you. Yeah, and as I told you, we are going on to the panel question. So this is a chit chat question where we are going to be enjoying ourselves. So for this session, there are no rules. You keep your question coming. Those things that you've been wanting to ask, you've been wanting to sit with someone that is way advanced. We are the young, yeah, I'm not saying like we are the younglings, people that have made like we are trying to find our way out in business. And Dr. Wala is someone that has done this, been there, done that, right? So we are going to be hearing from someone that is very experienced. And again, Kenya, she's coming from Kenya. Kenya, your people are blazing, right? I'm very excited that we get to meet Dr. Wala because, again, she has an acute experience. And not just an acute experience, she has won so many hearts. This is what we want for people today. We know that a lot of women here do different things, right? People are mothers, people have businesses, some of you also have full-time careers. So when we look for speakers, we look for a speaker that has lived the life you're currently living so that the person can best advise you, right? So today we are going to begin from startup to scale up. We are going to be with Dr. Wala. Maybe as we go on, Stella is going to join us, which is the founder of Nuban Beauty. But for now, we have Dr. Wala. And Dr. Wala, we are pleased to meet you. Please unmute your mic and let's start the gist, right?
Thank you so much, Chinelo.
And so please, you can leave the screen for it to be just both of us. It's fine. You don't have to share. Yes, please. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, so thank you so much. I'm happy to be here and looking forward to the discussions. I'm on fire.
Yes, because it's IgniteHER. We are also on fire. All right, so just to give you heads up, we are going to be bombarding you. There will be no rest. We are going to just keep it coming. So I'm going to start. Let me change your appearance so that your name will be clearer for people to see. I'm coming. Let me do that, Dr. Wala. Macaulay, analyst. Sorry. All right. So the first question I've actually been wanting to ask you. Okay, let me not jump to my question. Let's start it. Let us meet you. We know that you do so many things. You've been you're a founder, no, you've done, you've worked with the government, you have sat on many boards. You are like, you're way experienced and you keep doing, like, it's almost like there's something we use in Nigeria where we say that see finish, like you have seen everything about the person, but we use like there's no see finish, like when we are trying to see you, you do something else. So the first thing I want to know is, tell us a bit about yourself and how do you do it? I see Stella has joined. Welcome, Stella. Yeah, go ahead. Morning. You're muted, so you just unmute. Your mic is muted, Dr. Wala.
Yes, so thank you so much. And I'm really, really honored to be here. Greetings from Nairobi. It's 10 minutes to 4 here. So who's Dr. Wala? I am 45 years old. I am a person who, my mantra is that through my lifestyle and my conversations, that I inspire ordinary people to be better, to do better, and to live better. So that's my overall pillar in terms of what drives me. And so within this space, there are quite a number of things that I do. Some of them are born out of passion, others it's out of training. So I had mentioned I'm a medical doctor by training, but I see myself more as a political doctor than clinical, because I last saw patients 18 years ago. So I do more of policy work, maybe putting it plainly, something to do with population health. So I influence health through the lens of the population rather than individuals. Then I am also an entrepreneur. So I own and run 3 businesses. The first one is Beyond the...
Yeah, the superwoman.
Yeah, so it's more of I think things I start doing because I love doing, and then told, okay, how do you make money out of what you're doing? So that's how most of them have come through. So the first one is Beyond the Stethoscope, which is aligned to my profession, and it's about empowering medics in Kenya and beyond to do things that are non-clinical, basically to see themselves in a different way, to package themselves in a different way, as well as to let the hair down, because doctors are really can get stuck up in the traditional way of thinking. So I offer them that there's more to life than medicine. So how do you integrate into society, and also how do you get well yourself, because we struggle with a lot of mental health issues. The second business is a domestic worker placement agency called IgniteHER. IgniteHER Home Care Services has been born out of my own personal journey with raising my children. So I am a mother to 4. I have 4 teenagers, and so I take wine, a lot of wine, because you want to eat them half the time. But I have a son who's 15, going to 16 soon, and I have triplet daughters who are 13 and a half.
You have triplets. Oh,
yes,
that's cute.
Yeah, thank you. So my journey in parenting involved me, because I was in a very high pressure job at the time. I needed to have very good domestic work, helper at home, that would be able to help me to raise the children as I also balance out my career. So I got quite a number of hurdles in the beginning, and then later on settled on someone. And it's through this experience that I met and discussed with many other mothers who are career women, and even those who are not career women, who are struggling to find reliable domestic help. So this is how IgniteHER Home Care Services came, and we advocate for bringing back the dignity to domestic work. So professionalizing the service, just ensuring that they earn more than minimum wage. So at our agency, we do not place them if they're earning less than minimum wage. So it's part of us, because I believe as women, we really champion for our own rights in our workspaces, but sometimes we do not see ourselves as employers and infringing on the rights of the people whom we employ, whether in the work environment or the salary remuneration. So I generally really help people to think around, how is your domestic worker, in what condition is she or he? The last business is Beyond the Stethoscope. No, sorry, Wanderlust Diaries. So this is a travel platform. Again, I love traveling and I love writing. I write basically almost every day about my day-to-day mundane things, and I found that people loved reading about it. And my travel is usually either alone or with my family. And so during the COVID period, because we were stuck up in our homes, we couldn't get out, I said, let me start a travel group on Facebook. And then in a week or two, it had ballooned out, and I said, okay, this looks like a business idea. So then it has become one of the brands to reckon with in terms of the travel space. And that's because we speak for the voice of the travelers. And we've been able, through the brand, to promote a community that looks at sustainable travel and tourism, and also to hold, social accountability. Like we've tackled racism, we've tackled sexism, we've tackled safety, because we've had travelers, especially female solo travelers, being having the security, compromised in certain spaces. We've also had very fun things. For example, people coming out, rallying around families who have children living with disability and stuff. So that's the travel. And then there's Amakove, the brand. So I do a lot of influencing work. And recently I started a TV show. So it's called the Amakove Wala Show.
You started something else.
Yes. I promise this is the last one. And so with that TV show, I hope to turn the conversations that have been on social media into, the real life with an audience and panelists. So we are having our premiere on 1st of December. I'm really looking forward to it. I think there are very many. What I do is that I start conversations that are comfortable for many people. So whether it's on dating, relationships, parenting, careers that are out of the norm. So I challenge people to just think differently. And thank you so
Oh,
much.
no,
I think
no.
that's a wrap about myself. So I
That's
help
not a
people
wrap.
to.
If you leave here, I'm sure that you can start a new business while we're on the call. And that is exactly why we have you here. Because again, we know that women, we are going to have Stella speak soon. We know that women wear so many hats. They are doing so many things. So we really wanted people that are also doing diverse things so that the women can relate. I already saw in the chat session where someone is like, oh, she's also in the cleaning space. She has a lot to learn from you. So that is why we did this selection. Over to you, Stella. Also, why we going back to how we selected our panelists, we know that we have a lot of women in fashion and beauty. And because there are a lot of people in this sector, it is hard to break. It's hard to break the market. It's hard to have your own people that you're like, these are the people that I'm serving. I'm a known brand. I'm out there. And then we see you, we see New Brand Beauty. I can tell you for a fact, not even because we are here. I'm not a makeup person generally. So I'm like, okay, let me, I'm growing up. Let me be a fine girl and look for what to do about like makeup, skincare. And then I asked my friend, she's a makeup artist. I'm like, okay, I want to take this makeup thing seriously. What do you think I should do? And she said, I should try New Brand Beauty. I'm like, I thought people always think that we should use foreign brands, that they are better. Like, why New Brand Beauty? And she's like, oh, that makeup has really changed. They have nice products. So I just wanted you to know that you can take your flowers. We know you everywhere. And it's such an exciting one to be sitting here with you. So the same question I gave to Dr. Wala, I know that you love women, you're an investor, you love innovation, you wear so many hats, you love to speak, you're a public speaker. And I checked your page when I was almost panicking, and I saw that you were also in US. So there's a lot you also do. So let's hear if you're going to start a new business on this call. Please let us know. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh, good morning, Sheila. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I think it's about 7 a.m. here.
Oh, wow, that's really so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. So what's the question again?
Yeah, I think you should share a bit about yourself. Let's know about you from your own lens.
Okay. So I am a medical laboratory scientist by profession. I practiced for 8 years before I resigned to run New Brand Beauty full time. So let me introduce myself. My name is Stella Ndekile. I am the founder and CEO of New Brand Beauty. I miss other businesses though, but New Brand Beauty seems to be the most popular one, and that's the one everyone knows about. So New Brand Beauty is an African makeup brand that came out of the need to cater to the people of African descent. You know, the time where it's just like 3 or 4, 5 shades of foundation that everyone in Africa is playing around with. There's no way that's possible. Look at how diverse and beautiful our skin tone is. There's no way we all can fit into like 3, 4 shades. Why? So that was why New Brand Beauty was born. So it came from a place of need. So while I was a med lab scientist, I was also a makeup artist part-time. So I worked with National Orthopedic Hospital, Igbobi. I worked with College of Medicine / Lagos University Hospital, that's LUTH. Then the last place I worked was in University of Lagos Medical Center before I resigned. So I have had my time in the medical field. And
so we have 2 people in the medical field on this call. Are we not blessed?
Yes. So I think somehow I had a calling for business, maybe because I'm more of a solutionary, because I believe in when things are difficult for me and I realize it's difficult for others, that's when my thinking the light bulb goes off in my head. Because if I can solve the problem for myself, I can solve it for so many other people and I'll make money out of it. So the New Brand Beauty brand came out of the because I was retailing makeup while I was practicing. Everywhere I walked, everyone knows if you want beauty products, done for Stella. So, but it got to a point where you come to me to buy products and I'm using it on you and I'm like, this is not sitting well. This is not what it should look like. So that was how New Brand Beauty as a brand came about. And to God be the glory, we have over 100 distributors in Nigeria, and we have distributors in Ghana, we have in Rwanda, we have in Tanzania, we have in Ivory Coast, we have I'm trying to remember, but I know we have about 7 countries in Africa, we have distributors who distribute the New Brand Beauty product. Then I have another business which is called Senika Apparel. this came out of the, so I am a mother of 4 boys. So this
Wow,
came
so much alike. 4 kids, 4 boys. Okay.
Yes, this business came out of the need to find comfortable wears when I was pregnant, comfortable and affordable wears for me, when the bomb starts coming out and I'm forced to so in this, it's either I have to go to, what's it called? We call it OK Nigeria Cricket. Or, yeah, or thrift wears. Yeah, thrift, that's the word. To get stuff that will fit the bump. If you don't want to wear your trouser and leave the zip open so your bump can sit well, Then I had my last baby via C-section, and I realized I couldn't find anywhere to buy a postpartum C-section panties. So there is a whole niche where nobody is catering to. It doesn't make sense. So that was how I found myself having a fashion brand.
Awesome. Okay, I thought you were done. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, my business or personal ethos is about empowering and creating solutions. So for people who know Nuban Beauty well, we have a campaign called Nuban Beauty Parts the Girl, which is about giving back to girls in rural areas. So it was basically, I kind of stumbled on that. You don't know how blessed you are till you hear some people's stories. So somehow I was in an event and I heard we're talking and someone goes, period poverty. I'm like, what's period poverty? And I realized that, you see, something as simple as menstruation can change people's lives. I didn't count myself as an Ajibo or someone that I wasn't born with a silver spoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not privileged, right? But at that point, I realized that so many young girls have it way worse than I ever thought I was struggling, right? Because the period didn't change anything for me. So it got my head like, really? And I had to visit the Makoko region in Lagos. And whoa, I met a particular lady who kind of dropped out of school because of the stigma with menstruation and not having to get the right menstrual products to be able to go to school. So she said she was, I think, 8 or 10 years when her period started. Her parents are late. She's living with her grandma. And when the period started, she comes home to tell grandma, oh, blood is coming out. And grandma says, hey, it's because you're allowing boys to touch you. That's why you're seeing your period this early. And grandma throws a rag at her. First of all, if you know the Makoko region, you understand what I mean by it's a very, 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 very rural area. There's a way to add the very to the very, right? So you should know that grandma is struggling to even take care of her and herself. So when she goes to grandma throws a rag, a small rag to her to go take care of herself. And the next day she goes to school with the rag and she gets stained and the whole school is laughing at her. She's just an 80-year-old girl. I'm not sure, whether 8 or 10 years, I'm not quite sure now. And the stigma to her mind was the essence of going to school, and she drops out.
Oh, wow.
So on this, she's in her period, she will stay at home, So it was just
your newsletter.
Sorry, that was a mistake. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So and that was it for her. She stopped going to school. And there were lots of stories like that. Something you never took as serious. There were lots of stories around that. In fact, a particular one says she finds socks, the socks you wear on your leg. Then she put plantain leaves inside, and that's what she uses to, So I've always done, so for every year, apart from the COVID year, we always picked up a project for our corporate social responsibility. Previous years have always been about empowering women in business. That is, anyone who knows me knows that's all I'm about. I believe in empowering women. But this particular year, that was last year, I decided let's do something else because it's still empowering. If you're able to get these girls to go through school, we're looking at them becoming something way better in the future. So I partnered with an NGO, Safety for Every Girl, and we've padded over 1,000 girls in the West, in the East, and in the North. So we created a range of products specifically for this project, where the 50% of the proceeds of this range of products go to these girls. So how it works is each girl gets a set of pad as a sanitary kit, reusable. So it's not, they don't use it once. They use it for 2 years. So they can wash it and dry it and they use it. And it's amazing. It's very beautiful, eco-friendly, very nice stuff. So they get 3 panties, they get 5 pads, and they get a washing soap. So, but the pads is meant to last them for like 2 years plus. So we've done it for over 1,000 girls. And then personally for myself, I have a Telegram group where I educate women. That Telegram group has been going for maybe like 2 years now. Yeah. Just then I also have short programs I do when I have the time. Like you said, I'm currently not in Nigeria right now. So I'm always very busy, but I know that my mandate in life, I am called to empower women. Right? I know that for sure. So for every time I have the time, I'm creating a program or creating something to empower women. Then lastly, I'm working on a podcast series. We've already done like 5 interviews, but I don't plan to release it till I hit 12. Okay. So it's basically inviting women who have done it. So because there are lots of stories behind the success we see. There are lots and lots of scars, untold stories behind that, that fine girl you're seeing on Instagram, that lady you're seeing on the TV. There are lots of things that have gone behind the scenes for them to get there. And I want to be the voice sharing that story. So you don't look at as if it's out of reach for you. So you understand that they had to go through a process, and you understand that whatever you're going to get in life has to go through a process too. So that's what we're working on right now. We've done 5 interviews. I think that's 7 more to go when we're ready. But hopefully we're going to be releasing the podcast on YouTube from January 2024, hopefully. I think that's it about me.
So thank you so much. I'm going to say that if we invited both of you in the next 2 hours, I'm sure people would have started a business again. So I think it's really inspiring, because when we started the sessions today, like earlier, the morning sessions, we had a lot of people that were confused. Like, they have so many things they want to do and they're struggling. Like, what exactly should I do? What should I not do? How can I focus on one? How can I not focus on this one? So it's really also great that still in the same day, we have 2 people that are saying that, oh, they do all these things. I'm asking myself personally, there was a point you said that, so for you see a problem, you're looking for how to solve it. Then there are people like us that love the good life, that we see a problem, we're looking for who to complain to, like, why is there this problem? But I mean, I guess everybody cannot be the ones bringing solutions. So there should be we that are complaining about the problems, so that the people that want to provide the solutions, you provide it. But yes, people have such extensive profile. I'm going to go into it. I'm going to start with Dr. Wala. So, like, if we are going, like, we are getting real now, it's going to, as people are introducing yourself, it's glamorous to hear audacious, adventurous, that, oh, I'm doing this, a lot of things, 5 projects, the passion is there, the storytelling, but critically, how has this been? How has it been that you've raised businesses? Let's talk about IgniteHER Home Care, for example, right? And you started it from the ground up. What are the real challenges you started? Because we know that it's not really that easy, right? It's easier to say that, oh, I started A, B, C, D, but we know that it took you real work. I mean, before we also sent an invite to you, I'm like, okay, I just asked random people, who do you think are like known people that have done well in Kenya? And your name was like up there. So it means that for you to have gotten where you have gotten, you've done the groundwork. So tell us how it has really been, and how did you get there, the real process. So you can use one of your business, maybe IgniteHER, so you don't tell us of the whole.
Yeah, so I'll pick IgniteHER, and one is, yes, the tears are there. Tears will be there in plenty. It's just that you need to learn to fail forward. So one of the things that I started the business in my house. So with my then house manager, or nanny, because she said, okay, now she has the time on her hands. The kids had gone to school. So what business could we do? And we came up with that. Now, starting a business without any business skills, I forgot to say I have been working for 18 years before I finally resigned this year to focus on my businesses. It meant that she had to do most of the work. I did the legal stuff and the back end kind of stuff, but she had to do most of the operation. So it involved a lot of trust, but it also involved a lot of sacrifice for my family, because operating from my house meant that I at that time I lived in a one-storied house, that we would live in the upper side and the lower side was like an interview room. For those who may not know the model, we have ladies who come looking for work. So you host them maybe in the garden or outside. And then we advertise on social media or through, word of mouth. And then we have potential employers coming to the house, specifying what they need, and then being given like 3 choices. So they do interviews. So my house had a revolving door of strangers. And I didn't realize the impact of this on my children until the day we moved, which was like 4 years into the business. And they were like, Mom, we are so happy we don't have to have aunties anymore. Because for me, I was just doing it as a business, and it was giving me an extra, shilling here and there. The other thing is you get stuck with these people. Sometimes someone has asked for a worker, and then the worker has reported, and this person no longer picks up their calls. You have to host them in your house, because they have nowhere to turn to. And so I remember for 1 year in one of those early years, I battled with the issue of bed bugs. For 1 year, I almost burnt my house down, because bed bugs are stubborn little things. Ask France what they're going through right now. So there are things that you will sacrifice. There's also the neighborhood, because your house is not a commercial property. So of course there will be complaints. Oh, why do we have crowds? It's a gated community and it's a security issue. So all those things come to light. Then when I moved now to a proper commercial premise, I put in processes. And what happened is that with the processes, because remember, I have put a lot of trust in this person, some things started showing up, some cracks. And I remember at one point, a client writes to me and they're giving me proof of payment. When I check the proof of payment, it's going to the person's personal account. And when I ask, I'm told, oh no, this person, I don't know, gaslighting, a lot of gaslighting. So I realized there's something that's happening that needed my attention. But because I was so busy working, I did not put in the due diligence that I needed to put in the processes. So in the end, last year, I suffered a very, very big setback, because I discovered almost, let's say, $4,000. Yeah, $4,000 had been pilfered between January and October of last year by my then trusted person. I discovered they had started a parallel company, called clients. So it meant that I had to really, first of all, the personal betrayal that I felt, because this is someone who works for you in the house and also works in the business. But also I really blamed myself, because I said, you know what, all this time I've been empowering other women, because I do hold sessions for women in business. I've been empowering other women to be better in terms of their businesses, but I was not applying those lessons within my... Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello, am I back?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Allow me to turn off my video.
Okay, but we can hear you.
So I was mentioning about the kind of betrayal, personal betrayal, in terms of when you have a trusted person and when you've not put in processes, then these things are able to, they come biting you. So in a way, for me, it was a lesson learned in terms of putting in structures way before, so that you're not operating under trust or a handshake, and then you are, you're caught off guard. But then with this learning, with this experience came a lot of learning. For example, just doing things by myself and getting to be the hands on the ground, getting to understand my women, the workers who come there, because I had to visit, I had to listen to them. What were what were the issues and some of the things we could improve as a business. I didn't have that time before. So creating that time was very important, but also learning now to be aggressive, because now I have to find a way of recovering what I had lost. And that meant thinking creatively and coming up with, okay, can I look for grants in the care economy? And I discovered there's a lot of work within that space that if I hadn't gone through this rough patch, I wouldn't have, happened upon, basically fire was starred behind my back, as I may say in French. So it opens up. So yes, it was a tragedy. And right now we're in court sorting it out. But it did give me that impetus to say, look, okay, this business, am I willing to let it go down, or can I fight for it? Because of the impact, social impact that I see that our workers who've passed through our hands have gone through. So I think that's what I would share. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. So I hear something that both of you, both shared when you talk about social impact. Stella talked about it, you're also mentioning it. So I can see that, I can deduce, right, from what people have said. One thing that keeps people going in business is the fact that you know that your business is translating to an impact, that you see results. There's something, you can look at the life of person A, person B, and see that something has happened to that person. So women, I'm sure that people are taking notes. Above one thing, starting business for the money, it's also important to know that this business I'm doing, is it really solving problems at the end of the day? I'm going to go to you now, Stella. So we all know this, that the beauty industry is hard, is difficult. And while we are trying to bootstrap, we are trying to get there, then there's Stella that has, I think if I got that correctly, over 100 distributors. And you said you're serving over 5,000 women, and you're in 7 countries. This does not happen every other day. So let us know, how did you get here? What was your big break? Did you start, there are people that start businesses as small businesses and then they grow. And there are people that they dream big from the get-go. It's been big all the way through. So what is your true story? If we say, let's meet the Stella of 7 years ago, how was it? How did you get here? Tell us the truth, the real truth, so that the women will know how to go. Maybe they'll be the next time we are going to be having a panel session, they'll tell us the next 10 businesses they have. So please share that with us, Stella.
Okay. So let's go back to 7-8 years ago. I was retailing makeup as a side hustle, right? But now I was doing it small scale, I had a store on Konga, I had a store on Jumia. So I'll go buy products from this big retailer in Oregon, then I put it up on Konga. So, but it was like a side hustle for me because I had my day job, I had my, I was practicing. But now here's the story of how Nuban Beauty was born. So we always go for the makeup fair. If you're in Lagos, there's this thing called makeup fair. So it's like a beauty trade show where it's a conference or like an exhibition where, beauty vendors come to sell their products. So every year I always show up to buy stuff. But this particular year, so whenever I come, I will say, Miss, if I want to sell, I want to own a booth or a table to do my thing. So in this particular year, my friend got a space and she's like, can we share? I'm like, okay. She tells me how much. I'm like, whoa. So I ran off to borrow 500,000. This was in 2015. I borrowed 500,000 from what's it called? The cooperative in University of Lagos. So they'll be taking the money off my salary. I went to buy goods. As in, we've arrived. They will know that I came to sell makeup. And I show up to the exhibition. It was just a day exhibition. At the end of the exhibition, I only sold 30,000 naira. So you can do the math. 500,000.
470,000. That's a lot.
That is still hanging. So first of all, wait, let's do the math one, right? I paid 25,000 naira for the space.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and good thing was I was on my annual leave during the period. So I get back home, I cried myself to sleep. Because what am I supposed to do with goods of 470,000 naira? Like, how? What am I supposed to do with it? So when I go home, my husband didn't understand it. Like, why in God's name would this woman not rest? You have a good job. Rest in Jesus' name. You know?
I can imagine.
Like, it's you're not hungry, rest, you know. But I just couldn't, because I keep saying the problem that needs to be solved. But at that point, it wasn't a problem thing for me. Now I have goods, I don't know what to do with. So I cried myself to sleep, woke up at maybe around 2 a.m. or thereabout. Then I was just on Facebook looking around. Then I saw the post of Strive Massey, you are the owner of Econet. And he says, online is the new real estate. I'm like, okay. So I go on to read the post about having your own website and all that. So, and you know, I have been selling on Konga and Jumia. So I understand how the online, to an extent, I understand how the online space works and how the back end works. So, okay, now I need my own website, right? I go into, okay, I now start searching for, you know, how can I do it? How can I do a website, you know? And I found a place very close to my house. I almost called them by 2 a.m. I had to hold myself to the next morning, and I called them and they're like, yeah, you can come in, we'll help you do your website and all that. So I go in the next day, like I was so excited. I show up the next day, and guess what? They said I'm going to pay them 30,000 naira to do the website. So tell me how is the exact same money I made the previous day that I was asked to pay for the website. I'm like, okay, that's fine, because I had the money in cash. I had it in cash. I said, okay. And the guy goes, so what name do you want to register the business with? I say Stella Makeovers, because that was what I was bearing them. But Stella with an R. So there's an R at the back. He says no, that he's not going to register it. I'm like, why? He said, there's nothing unique about the name. You're going to go home and think about a unique name. First of all, I don't know this guy from anywhere. I'm meeting him for the first time. And he wouldn't take my money. He sends me home to go find a unique name and come back. So I go home, I think 2-3 days, I had to like think about it. And that was how the Nuban Beauty name came about. And I called him on the phone. I was so excited. I call him, I say, yes, I have a name now. He says, what's the name? I said, Nuban Beauty. He was like, spell. I spelled Nuban. He's like, whoa, come in. And I came in and I paid him the 30,000. And that's how Nuban Beauty came about. When it comes to having a business, just like Dr. Walla said, it takes a lot to run a business, and you have to learn how to fail forward. For me, I say you fail forward and you forgive yourself very fast. The reason most businesses don't grow is because they wallow in the pity of supposed failure. I call it supposed failure because it's just a launching pad. It must happen. It just must happen. So you understand how to move to the next level. Ask any seasoned business person. It's not smooth all the way. Every time there is a story, like I said at the beginning, there are scars. There are so much that's going on behind the scene you're not aware of. But we won't come out to share them unless it affects the public, right? It's just the way it is. But you should be able to feel forward, forgive yourself fast enough and move on. I said this because, so when I joined that particular hosting platform, they promised me a lot of things. So I paid for a year, right? They promised me a lot of things. I was going to get a space to do my blogging, and a lot of things. 6 months down the line, they were not fulfilling half of what they promised me. Meanwhile, while I joined them, I had other people who said, oh, Stella, I like what you're doing. And they came on board too. What then happened? They became fixated with the fact that they paid for 1 year. I said, no. There's no way I would do this for 1 year. I don't care how much I paid you, but I'm not going to do this for 1 year. So every time someone makes a payment to my website, I have to do series of mails to interswitch to be able to get my money. Do you get? It doesn't make sense. This should be a seamless process. Then we had people who couldn't even come into the website to make payments. It was a hassle. And in my head, I'm like, no, I can't do this for a year. No, I managed to do it for 6 months. And I told everyone who came on that platform because of me, I said, I'm moving out. They said, hey, hold on for 1 year. I said, what for? I will have customers who are dissatisfied that will never want to buy anything from me again. Why would I hang on for that long? And I switched. Like, I left the 30K. It's okay. You can hold on to it because I could see my traffic. I am having people come on board, but they can't go through the process because it's not seamless. Then those who manage to go through the process, I have to beg you to give me my money. I have to do a series of wahala to get my money back. It doesn't make sense. So I left everything and I moved on to a new platform, and it's the best decision ever. I manage my website myself, right? So it's a website that's easy for me to like run, do my stuff on, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So the truth is I just want to hammer on what she said, which is you just have to fail forward. The problem most business, I say why I'm doing this is everyone is not wired to run business. Exactly. Thank you, Lisbeth, taking risk. Everyone is not wired because everyone can take risk the same way. You need to understand the mission or the vision of your business. And when we say mission and vision, what are we saying? The vision is where you see the business in the long run. Let's leave all the big English. When you Google, you're going to see a lot of English that is like bamboozling you, all this vision and mission. Let me break it down. The vision, what you can see is where the business will be in, say, in the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Where do you see this business you're about to start going? The mission is the steps you will take to get there. Simple. So if you can see clearly the vision, the failures shouldn't stop you. If you can see clearly where you're going, you understand that life, as a human being, you have hiccups. So life will have hiccups. When something happens that didn't work the way you want it to work, it's just hiccup. It hasn't matched the picture of where you are driving to. So I would say that, like I said, when we're all looking fine, dressed up on the ground, it looks so easy. And she's saying, I have over 100 distributors. It didn't just happen in a day. There are so many stories around that. So many stories around how we got there. At the point we had people who would refuse to pay for products. They want you to give them products and they'll say they want to pay you on commission, and they would never pay. Like she said, I ran business from my house for 2 years. Why? Because I had a day job and there's no way I can go, because I'm a lab scientist. So we do call duties. I work on Saturdays, I work on Sundays. I can't run a store. It's not possible. So I had to stay in my office and run everything on the website. So I was basically on the website. But let me tell you this, if you're starting a business, if you're someone who's just starting a business, cut down your overhead as much as you can. Unless you have someone financing you, like seriously loaded and financing you. You don't need a store if you can afford not to. It was one of the ways we could grow. So I didn't have to pay for rent. I didn't have to pay for utility. I didn't have to pay for anything. I just took a store in my house and that was it. So I had dispatch riders come. So I had my younger sister who just finished NYSC at home. So her work was, gave her a system. She was processing. The dispatch riders would come and pick up and they move. That was how we existed for 2 years. So if you know Lagos and know how expensive it is to try to get a space in the choice area, you will understand how much money we saved in 2 years. That money we put back. So in 2 years, we went from a brand that had just 2 products to a brand that had over 30 SKUs. Because we were not paying a lot of overhead. So everything went back into the business. everything is going back into the business. I didn't have a lot of dramas, you know. I wasn't even taking salary. So it was just my sister. She even refused to take salary at that point because we understood this business needs to grow. So that 2 years, we were putting everything back. Everything went back into the business. So if we made 100K, that means we're going back into production for 100K. If that 100, let's say, if 50K yields 150K, we put the 150K back. So what it means is going to yield the 450. So we kept pushing back. We kept pushing for 2 years. Why did I now have a store? People wanted to have meetings with me. There was no way I was opening the door of my house for you people to have meetings. It's not my office. So I was forced to have a store. But the shocking one was when DHL called us to have, like, we see the numbers you're doing. Let's do something better with this. That was why I had to get a store. So my message to everyone here is, yes, I know business is hard, but cut down as much as you can and learn to fail forward. Learn the lessons, because for everything that happens in your business is happening for a reason. If you don't learn the lessons, that thing will happen again.
Yeah.
So why is it happening? That's the first question. Why did that happen? What did you learn from it? If you're able to know why it happened, you will know how to fix it and make sure it doesn't happen. So you mitigate against it happening next time. Thank you.
Great, thank you. One thing I like about this session is, I mean, when both of you are answering, it's almost like we can see that there is like a trend. There are like similarities in what you're saying. So we know that, okay, people are not trying to lie to us. Because, you know, when we say, when we call people that have made it in their business stuff, we want to hear one thing that we don't know. But most times it's really what we know, but we fail to keep, right? Everybody, like, we say that when we see that, okay, both of you are big brands, we want to hear something that is very different, but it's really like, I can hear the consistency. Something that is very relatable from both of you is the passion, because it's only passion. You have to love what you do to fail at it and come back again. If you don't love it, I mean, when you fail once, you're like, let me go to the good life or look for something that is easier to do. And then something that both of you also mentioned that I think is very important is the right people. So, and it's different for both of you. For Stella, it was that, I mean, you had someone, you wanted to do Stella makeovers, you met someone that you didn't even know that advised you to have a proper name. For Dr. Wala, it was like her nanny that she thought at the time was the right person. I also like that because when she was sharing her story, it happens to the best of us, where you're working with people and you think that you're working with the best people, and then in the long run you find that you've made a total mistake. So I like this diverse experiences, because you can, if you don't relate to that of Stella, you relate to that of Dr. Wala, you can find yourself somewhere. And we have like lots of questions in the comment section. I still have more questions, so I'm going to take like maybe one of my questions, and then since this is for the women, I'm going to allow them to ask their own questions. So I'm just going to do one for you both. So Dr. Wala, what I want to really ask is, again, you've told us the journey, right? And we understand that there's passion there, there's consistency, there's you also failing and failing fast. But seeing that you have these different things you do, how is it possible to be a mother, right? Do a business, you're starting something every, like a new thing when you see it. How is it possible to put all this together and still excel, right? Because there's still many people that do a lot of things, but they're not making headway in any one. So they tell you that, oh, I have this one, I've made only $2 for 2 years. This other one, I made $1,000 in the past 6 years. So people do a lot. And then some people even start going through divorce or anything just because of their career. It happens when you don't have like a supportive spouse that understands you. So how do you have to do this? And you're still sane, because I'm not doing what you people are doing, but there are days where I'm like, I mean, not days, yesterday, I had a lot to do and I'm like, I'm drained, I want to run away. So how do you do all these things and still win? Yeah, I really want to know that.
Thank you. I think one thing I want to put a disclaimer is that I think we are living in a very digital world. And so be wary of the stories put out there, because we want to show the best side of things. And so you might have a lot of pressure from, oh, my friend is, posing in this and this place or meeting these high profile people. And so you're not seeing the tears. Usually the tears are done in secret. So I'm learning to talk about my tears in the public so that I show people that it's not all rosy, and it does need a lot of hard work. And sometimes even with hard work, it still doesn't pay off. So as a person, I think there's a lot that my personality helps with the kind of things I do in my life. And I used to struggle a lot with who am I, because I would feel like I think differently from what society expected me to think, whether it's a woman, right from as a girl child. And I really struggled with trying to be, stop talking too much, stop being aggressive. My boyfriends would tell me I'm too aggressive, and I wonder, why am I being aggressive? And I'm just being myself. I had to tone down my accolades, the schools I went to. It started now becoming, I'm transforming to someone whom I'm not. But I didn't notice it until a time came when I felt I was cracking. And at the time, I was working for an employer that had access for the employees to professional help. And I really, really tell women, please have professional help, whether or not you feel you need it. Even just for check-in, just say, just need someone to talk to every 3 months. You check in and have something, someone to walk with you, because it helps, and it helps uncover some things that in this battle of life, you keep on pushing back things, because you have to do the art of living. You have to do the art of providing for your children, or providing for yourself, or for your business. So when you don't notice, then things start cracking. And for many of us, especially those who are termed as strong people, we crack the hardest. We don't show it first, but when it cracks real good. And so one time I realized I'm yelling at my children. I don't have the energy to go to work. And personally, in my relationship, I was married at that time, things were falling apart. But everyone used to see a smiling face. Everyone used to see, oh, she's out there. It took a friend of mine who used to live in a certain town, and she'd come to visit, she'd stay with us. She told me, she used to be very blunt. She's still very blunt to now. She told me, Liz, this is not you. This is not you. You used to make your hair, you used to do your nails, you put on weight. What's going on? And meanwhile, I'm living with many, many friends who are noticing these changes, but are afraid to speak up. So one of the things I did was to critically look at myself and to ask myself, what is it? What is making me be this other person? Because I couldn't recognize that person. And so I did have the professional help, and I did discover some things that right from childhood, you grew up seeing your mom struggling. So you grew up accepting certain things as the norm, that women are meant to suffer, women are meant to toil harder, they're meant to, and this societal norms and expectations of what a woman should be was ending up hurting me, because I was enjoying things that are not necessarily nurturing of time. People would say, oh, you have nice children. I would leave those children at 3 months when they were still breastfeeding. 5 months, I traveled out of the country for work. Like, I enjoyed my work. So, but then you're told, no, but you should be at home, taking care of the children. So I was like, how come I'm not struggling with that part of motherhood? I am okay excelling in my career and delegating some of those duties that are at home. So I think with that professional kind of maneuvering, I discovered some of these personality tests that really help you to discover yourself. One of them is Myers-Briggs. I know it's been criticized, it's not a professional one, but I loved it because for me, it was the aha moment. It described me to a T, and it was a personality that I was like, but this is exactly who I am. So I cannot be this other type that they're trying to do. So from that time on, I said, you know what, I'm going to do what's best for me. And I'm going to pursue the things that I like doing. I'm going to pursue the traveling I used to love. I'm going to pursue going out. So I had to learn to compartmentalize my life. And, sometimes I feel like maybe, we've been told it's men who compartmentalize. I'm very, very good at, if I've left my children at home when they were very young, I would switch off. I don't care whether because I have empowered the nanny at home to take care of those children. So they should not be calling me at work. And when I'm at home, I leave work alone. In fact, I used to tell all my employers, I do not have work
email on my phone. So because I'm not serving in a as field where, if I wasn't there, someone would die, because I was in 8 to 5 jobs. So why are you telling me to check my email at night? So I'd put in my best at work, and at home I'd put in my best, and then I wouldn't expect others. So I think that really helped. I learned to give me time. I taught my children to choose for me my outfits for Fridays. So Fridays, I know it's mommy's day out to go dancing, to go have fun with her girlfriends or wherever. And they knew Sundays was their day. So Sundays, mom will be there, mom will be taking them somewhere, we'll be doing things together. So I think also having planned my motherhood, because I put my children on a routine, I realized, I was then married to someone who traditionally in their culture, they don't carry babies. So here you have 3 babies, you have 2 breasts, you have colic, you have a toddler. And I realized I'm alone in this. And if I don't fix it, I'm going to crash. So I ensured I had 2 helps. I could afford that. I thank God for that. But I also put my children on a routine. And I told them, you know what, if you're fed, if you're warm, if you're dry, why are you crying? You should go to sleep, because maybe it's sleep time. So I put them on a routine. And up to now, my children are on a very predictable routine. They know what to be doing. Like now it's 4:45. Today is a Wednesday. They know that they should be having tuition between 4 and 6 p.m. 6 p.m. it's shower time, then dinner time. 8 p.m. everyone is asleep in that house. So that really helps, because I'm able to, and anyone who works with my children is able to plan themselves around their routine. But also the children thrive in predictability. So if you are the helicopter mom, you're the person, no one else can feed my baby, no one else can cook for my husband, no one else can. I realize all these things are things we've burdened ourselves as women. There's no child who walks around saying, I was fully breastfed. If that breast milk is not coming, girl, put that child on formula. There is no medal for a sleep-deprived, angry, annoyed woman. Take care of yourself and learn to surround yourself with people who are able to build you up. I realize we also have a lot of time. 24 hours is a lot of time in our space. The other day I was writing on my timeline about the things I'm going through. I mean, going into self-employment is not a walk in the park. You don't have a predictable source of income. And before I used to really panic because, end month is coming, like today's 26th, there are bills that are due, whether or not, no one cares that you used to excel in a career. The rent is due, it's gonna be paid. The electricity, whatever is due, it needs to be paid. And I realized even if I panic at night, what am I going to change? I don't work at night. So I said, you know what, Liz, you're going to sleep. When you fall asleep at 10, you're going to make yourself sleep until 6 a.m. because there's nothing that you'll do between 10 and 6 that will earn you an extra coin unless you're working online. So I've learned to relax. I've learned to let go. I've learned to say, during the work hours, I have put in my best. If my best is not enough, another day tomorrow to fight. So I think we really bash ourselves. We push ourselves from pressure of society, and we push ourselves from pressure of what people think we should be doing. And with that, I have this tagline saying, do you, the world will adjust. So when you're doing you, you know where your vision is, your mission, and learn to focus on things that will take you to a mission or your vision. Because there's a lot of distraction. Social media is there. I mean, if you're doing, I usually tell people, when you're following all these other celebrities, their scandals and who's married 5 times and who's divorcing and Will Smith has done this and that. I'm like, that 10 minutes that you're following Will Smith's scandal, you would have put in your product on the timeline. You have created a flyer using Canva. Put your product on the timeline. Ask people, please review this product. Please access this and that. So we all have 24 hours. It's what we do with our time that makes the difference. Then build tracks. You cannot do it alone. As a business, I belong to a number of business membership organizations. So I put aside a percentage of my business budget to be a member of Kenya Association of Women in Tourism, to be a member of Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to be a member of Kenya Private Sector Alliance, because all these things are platforms where opportunities are passed down. If you're not in those spaces, no one is going to come to your place or your office and say, look, come, there's a scholarship here, or MasterCard Foundation is doing this and that. And then even in those spaces, like now IgniteHER is one of the conferences that is, helping. You are able to build yourself. So for me, I really protect my mind, and I tell people, protect what you're absorbing, because the more you're listening, and there's a lot the world is throwing at us, the more you start internalizing all these things that become, you need to be this way, who has done this? You start believing in many of these things. So I really protect my mind. I shed off things that do not build me, whether it's relationship. I used to feel guilty. Oh, these people have worked with me during divorce. I realized that was a season. They were there for me. They needed to be there for me. Right now, I can no longer be talking about my divorce. Right now, I'm talking about my businesses, building my empire. Who's going to help me in these discussions? And I look for that kind of support. I also look at how can I bring someone else up. If someone reached out to me, I say, you know what? Someone else did reach out. Help me navigate this space. It is it's something free. If I can share an opportunity like IgniteHER, I would share, because all it needs is you click on share and send it out. And I tell people, look, if you're following me, you're not here for gossip. I do not do gossip. I do, how can we ensure that we are better, that we do better, that we live better? Thank you.
Awesome. So the truth is that even if we do not ask any questions, I feel like we are already ignited, because these are great. I can also personally relate, but I'm not going to talk for now because we have like 10 minutes. And if I don't ask the next question, they might chop off my head. So we are going to be a bit faster now so that we have loads of questions. Normally, I was meant to allow some of them speak, but because we have loads of questions, I'm just going to have to read them. Stella, the first one is for you. Ladies, also know that we have limited time. I'm sorry. I mean, we're all enjoying the session together, so you can't blame me. But I'm going to see how they can take a lot and then maybe answer it as quickly as possible. So Stella, someone is asking, what was your big break in business?
What was my what?
Big break in business. The it moments. Maybe if you also add the timeline, so they will know that, okay, maybe it's not in the first year, like maybe the timeline it happened.
Okay. Breaks for everyone is different, right? So I'm going to give you a back end story before I resigned. I think that was where the big break happened, if I may say so. But when that time is big break now, looking at it, I'm like, okay. So when I was in civil service for a very long time. Although I was changing parastatals at different phases in my life. But at the last spot, I was in a medical center where I was brought in the wrong level. When the appointment letter was given to me, I wrote to say, no, this is not by civil service standard. I shouldn't be in this level. I was in this level 2-3 years ago. And they say, oh, looks like this one likes Wahala. She likes trouble. Oh, she has not even come in. She has still writing letters. Whoa. And everyone goes, the department where I was supposed to work goes, don't worry, come in. When you're in, we'll fix it, So come in. I'm doing the thing. And 2 years down the line, nothing is fixed. I wasn't given the opportunity to fix it. Nobody's saying, Stella, okay, come and do this to fix this. And next thing, they employed 2 other people who were placed on a higher rank than myself. I have been practicing way before they even became scientists like myself and all that. So that put me in depression. Also remember that at this point, I also have Nuban Beauty as a side hustle. So it wasn't really serious for me, right? But my entire being was in my profession as a med lab scientist. That's what I live for. That was it. So the other one was like a side, something I do to the side because I love makeup. I entered depression. It was so bad that so I'm the kind of person that loves looking good. What I wear, how I show up, it's just me. I believe in dress the way you want to be addressed. But by the time this started happening to me, I didn't care what I looked like. A particular day, I was leaving the house with my slippers, the slip-ons, and my husband was like, whoa, it has gotten to this. I didn't care, like I was losing it. So I went to God in prayers. I'm like, what's going on? You gave me this work. I didn't know anybody. You just gave me, you blessed me with this work. What's going on? And he says to me, go and make yourself happy. Makeup is my happy place. So while it was a side hustle for me, there was a projection for, so maybe because I've worked in civil service, I've worked in structured organizations for a very long time, so I understand structure to an extent. So even while it was a side hustle, there was structure to it for me. So I had a projection of what I was supposed to do for the next 3 years, the amount of money I am supposed to make for the next 3 years. So when I heard go and make yourself happy, I'm like, okay, let me go and put my energy in my side hustle, because this guy's about to drive me crazy. You know how bad it was that the new guys came in? Whoa, so when they rank us now, I'm at the bottom of the rank for someone who has been in the establishment for years. So I just took my mind off it and focused on Nuba Beauty. Guess what? In 6 months, I did my projection of 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And that was when I told myself, okay.
No more career.
No, but I actually worked for 1 year more before I resigned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I actually had to do it one year more. You know, I wanted to be sure it's not beginner's luck. You know, I wanted to be certain it's not beginner's luck, you know, because it was crazy. You know, projection of 3 years, I was hitting it in 6 months. I'm like, whoa. Because now, so it boils down to passion and being diligent. Why it was a hustle, a side hustle, I wasn't really paying so much attention to it. And I was wasting so much energy in the anger that was in me. So when I decided to, that time I used to like berate myself. That time I used to like think about what did I do wrong. And I was praying too much too. There's nothing like praying too much, basically, but I was sure God was saying,
not doing the work.
This prayer will get up, you have to go work, you know. So I had to cut down, you know when to do what, focused more. And in 6 months, I did my projection for 3 years. So you know how funny was that? So when I decided I was going to resign, my mom and dad would call me almost every day to say, what is it you want to do in business that nobody else has done? What in God's name? We put you through school for how many years? You've been practicing for how many years? What is wrong with you? It's so bad that they even had to send my aunts and uncles for me. As I'm answering my dad's call to say, yes, I'm resigning, or my aunts and uncles calling to say, you know, it was just crazy. But I had a husband, I had the best support system. I had the husband who kept saying, resign, Jerry, you'll be fine. In fact, I was on maternity leave before I resigned. Whenever I wake up, he wakes up in the morning, he's getting dressed for work. He come and tap my feet when I'm still sleeping. I'm breastfeeding. So when are you resigning again? So he was solidly behind me. But I was so scared, you know, because of the, you know, pension, you have, you know, all the things I have to go with civil service, you're insured for life and all that. He kept saying, no. Because when I was going into depression, he kept saying, this is not the woman I married. He kept saying it. This is not the person I married. You're losing it. You're losing it. So, but when I switched my attention, the woman he married came back. So he felt I was in an environment that was not enabling me. He doesn't care what anybody's saying about the future and all that. You need to come out, because I don't want to deal with that woman I dealt with last year. No. So he kept, when are you resigning? When are you resigning? When are you resigning? In fact, at the point, he started asking me, okay, let's go and look for stores. Let's go and look for shop. Because I know that you don't want to sit at home. That's probably the reason you don't want to resign. Okay, let's go and look for stores for you. So if I get stuff for you now, you'll resign. So he had to go looking for stores with his friend. When he found a good one, I said, oh, yeah, come and see. I think this is a perfect place for you to start. And that was one of the things that gave me the lever to say, okay, I'm done. I'm putting in my resignation letter. And you know, the funny thing is that in my establishment, you get a confirmation letter as per government became confirmation letter after 3 years. Guess what? It was after I got my son that my confirmation letter arrived. So I received the confirmation letter, I gave them a resignation letter. And so that was it. So that was the story of my big break.
Awesome. The funny thing is that you are talking about resignation, and the next question here was actually for Dr. Wala about resignation, on how she was able to, after working for 18 years, how she made up her mind to resign. But I'm going to, Dr. Wala, just so that you also add on what she said, we'll do that quickly, and then we'll wrap up. And we have just one. When I wrap up, I'm going to ask you the final questions, because we have 5 4 minutes exactly now to go. But I mean, like I said, I'm not sure that women are angry about the time because we had fun. So Dr. Wala, someone was asking, after working for 18 years, how were you brave enough to quit to quit your job, especially knowing that business can be here or there? I mean, you can be running at a loss for a long time. So how did you take that step? Dr. Wala, can you hear me? Okay.
Okay, thank you. I hope you can hear me. Sorry.
Yes, but we can't see.
Okay, I've turned off my video, but so for me, I've quit twice. So the first time was during COVID, when I got a very good grant from Meta for my travel platform, and I thought that was a lot of money, and it would sell me through the period. I didn't have a plan unlike Stella. And then that money ran out very fast. And I realized these bills are piling and piling, and I started borrowing, and I was like, this is not me. I have obligations. And then I chose the wrong time, I would say, because I chose a time when we were going into an election period, and our elections really, really dragged on because there was a court case and whatnot. So like for 6 months, government wasn't working. So that really impacted on my business. And I said, it's okay. There's nowhere where someone walks around saying, I quit my job and I've gone back and now I'm walking ashamed. I actually went back to work. I got a job. I was lucky that my credentials got me a very good job. But the reason why I quit the first job, the other time, was one that I got into spaces where I felt my energy, my skills were not being utilized. And I realized, I don't know if we have Caucasians in this, that there was another cultural experience working with Caucasians, because I'd risen to a global level. And I was like, but something is wrong here, because I'm being made to do things and to report as if I am an intern. And this is 18 years, or that time it was like 16 years of work behind me. And I started getting sick in terms of my energy levels were low. I didn't look forward to going to work on Mondays. It was working from home. And initially I thought it was a COVID thing, but the measures of COVID were lifted and we could travel again, and it still wasn't working. Again, because of the kind of professional help I'd gone through, and I had executive coaching also, I was empowered enough to know that when something is not wrong, you should be able to voice it. You should be able to have a discussion with your line manager. And we'd had this several discussions. By the time I went on holiday, I remember it was like in August, we were at the beach, and I told my friends, there were 3 ladies who'd gone on holiday with our kids. I told them, I'm resigning. And they said, we believe you. So I wrote my letter. I came very calmly, resigned without a job, but then you have to give notice. So in that notice period, I tried looking for another job. Then I realized, what if I just put my mind into these businesses that I've been doing? So when I went back the second time, I was very clear and categorical. In my interview, I even told them the reason why I left the last job is because they made me do things that at my level I should not be doing. So I hope this is a different kind of job. Guess what? 6 months later, I realized I'm getting sick again. And I said, you know what, I'm leaving, and that's that. And my family has been brought up. We've been brought up by parents who've been teachers, and so at time we're brought up to be employed. You get a white collar job, you're successful. So what is this? First of all, you're a doctor. What is this? You're traveling. You can travel and still do the things that you used to do. You can still do these other things. Why do you have to leave a very well-paying job? And then I realized I am not answerable to anyone. Again, goes back to that self-affirmation of what are your own goals? Because they have their own career, they have their own direction, they have their own security or insecurities that now were reflecting in my life. And I tell people, yes, I have less money. Yes, of course, the panic attacks come once in a while, but there's no single day I woke up with a headache or I woke up with sadness that I am not looking forward to going to work for Nyarai, but I'm not looking forward to to do my travel bit of, not a single day. And I said, you know what, for the money, the sacrifice,
it is all worth my personal health, my joy, my experiences. I forgot to mention that in one of the times when I was cracking, I actually ended up in hospital. And this is why I'm really emphasizing on professional health, especially for the ones who feel, I got this together, I can push it a bit more. I was that kind of a woman. And one day I landed in hospital with a funny pain on my right side, with a fever and nothing else. And I went through all these investigations and I was like, there must be something. It can be psychosomatic, which is what you say when your mental health now translates to a physical manifestation. I said, I can't fake a fever. And they said, Liz, we've run x-rays, we've run CT scans, MRI. I mean, the amount of radiation I went through, they could not face anything. It took a visit from my own nanny who visited me in hospital and told me, Liz, you're going to die and leave your children alone, because then I was separated. That is when I had a mental flip. And I said, you know what? I need to snap out of this. What is causing me this situation is because I'm in this kind of work environment that I needed to leave, that I needed to put my life back together. The same day I decided to flip my mindset, that fever went. Like it went. This is 2 weeks of crawling on the floor in a hospital setup. So I tell people, this mind, let me tell you, I will protect it at all levels, because I know what it can do to you. And all those things that you are thinking you have can be spent and wasted on hospital bills if you don't protect your mind. Thank you.
I mean, I would like to say that I'm not sure that today would have gone any better than it's going. When I even look at the things I've written down, I mean, obviously, I'm going to still do the recap for the women. So if you joined late or anything, everybody gets it. But before I go into the recap, I really want to say that I am, not just me, I think I and the ladies in this room, we are really happy to be with you, Paul, because again, it's not, even when we know things, it's not easy to hear people, especially people that have been successful, saying they've been through these things. It's just like an encouragement to say that, okay, you're not wasting your time. You're not just going through nothing. If you keep at it, you're going to there's going to be a silver lining. Things are going to get better. So this has really been a great time. I'm just going to do a few recaps so that people that join at different points are going to get it. I mean, this is a lot. From the start, I didn't write it according to who said what. So I'm just going to do the recap. The ones I remember who said it, I'm going to put it out. But I know that something that was very important is when they say, know when you need help. I think that was Dr. Wala, when she was saying that, okay, she was trained and then she had to get a nanny. It's important. I see these things a lot when women email me and tell me, especially after in 2021, 2020, I got a lot of emails where people are telling me they were burnt out, people were suicidal. Like when I get these emails, I'm like, what is happening? I even had an entrepreneur that told me that, I mean, she has 2 kids, she has multiple jobs, she has a husband, she doesn't have any nanny, and every time she feels like things are like everything is happening to her at the same time. So please, I know that you can be superheroes, but then you can also be a queen. So choose your battles wisely, right? Know when you need help. And then also Dr. Wala that said about the different things, like knowing how to just live, right? If you enjoy something, try to do it and have fun while doing it. Something that stood out, and both of them mentioned it, is passion. Even while they resigned, if you have to like maybe bring it to a summary, it's still like they found out that above that, the fact that the work was not what they wanted for themselves at the moment. They knew that they had passion for something else. So please, I think that it's also very important that I know that there are people that just start businesses because of the money. Remember that when the going gets tough, if money is your only motivation, you may break down or actually leave the business. So know why you're in your business. Then both of them also talked about social impact, right? Know that whatever you're doing at the end of the day is impacting the larger world. And then it was Stella that said, what do you see? It's very important. As people sit down, always ask yourself, what do you see for yourself as a person? Because I also believe that if you're not very organized, you cannot have an organized business. If you don't see well for yourself, you cannot see well for your business. Your business is literally an extension of who you are. So know how to fix yourself and then you can fix your business. They also mentioned about choosing the right people. Someone was also asking about it in the comment section about like hiring rights. When Stella was talking about cutting down overhead costs, it was something very important that she mentioned. When you start out a business, don't try to be the big business just at that moment. Try to see how you can bootstrap and use all you have. If we had more time, we would have gone into how they sought for funding, if they sought for funding, but we do not have that. They also spoke about fail forward, forgive yourself fast, knowing when to move. I think that's also their resignation story. Know when to leave, know when to move. They talked about bootstrapping. Okay, yeah, something that Dr. Stella mentioned when she talked about the DHL thing. She said she was just working and then DHL called and they saw the order she was making. And the point I picked from that is at times, all we need is just really consistency. Keep giving value and one day your value is going to translate to something. And then this also goes to investment. I know businesses that they were not the ones that went to look for investors, right? Investors call them to say that I want to invest in your business. So again, it happens for us differently. It could be you, where in the session with Peace Itimi, when she talks about what her growth was like, how she was just really about putting out things and she saw that, okay, somebody will call her, I want to work with you or that. So at times, it's just for you to keep doing the good work and one day you have your big break. Someone said one of you talked about self-introspect. I can't remember who now, but that you should look within, ask yourself real questions if you're on the right path, if you're doing the right things. That same person talks about compartmentalize your life. I think that was Dr. Wala that said she shares, yeah. She tries to make sure that things are organized, even her children. She makes sure that everything is organized. She didn't come to kill herself. Nobody is going to. I like when she said that there's nothing on your forehead that shows that you breastfed your children or anything. So please leave. Do not kill yourself. Take care of yourself. Do you, the world will adjust. I think that was Stella. I can't remember now. Lady, people have to pay me for this note I'm giving to you because I don't know why you did not take your own notes. But yeah, something Stella also mentioned that I think I wanted to mention was when she talked about spirituality and checking within. It's also to the point of self-introspecting. It's good for you to know how to go back to whatever you believe in at some point in your life, because if we come here to tell you it's all about like what the spouse said, what you thought, at times it's really something that is divine, something that you know that you have no hand in. So that is something you can hold on to. Support system, it was also Stella that mentioned she had a great support system. And even Dr. Wala had support system. She mentioned when her nanny will come and tell her, oh, you're breaking down. So it's important that as entrepreneurs, you have people around you that can tell you the truth. Don't be surrounded by people that are lying to you. You're doing the wrong things. You're dying. They will see and they'll tell you to keep pushing when you're about to die, right? And someone in the chat room talks about mindsets when Dr. Wala was also speaking. Yes, I also think it's a big one, right? You want to ensure that you have the right mindset to your business, the right mindset to life. Something that both of them said that I think is very, very key, that we women, especially women, this is not men, women, we fail to do. We fail to think about ourselves. I always tell people can never love you more than you love yourself. Even your spouse cannot love you, no matter how they support you, they cannot love, your children cannot love you more than you love yourself. You people have time, we women, when I say we women, I'm asking myself, it's like I've grown. But yeah, we women, like you're thinking about the kids, the business, your husband's family. You're thinking about everything but yourself. Take time to remember that you're human. I think it was Dr. Wala that said, I can't remember, but if you die today, the world is going to move on, right? So know when to take a break, know when to think, know when to know if you're on the right track. But in all these things I said, I was just stating it. I did not even say, like, if I start saying everything I wrote down here, it will be another session. So I'm very sure that, like the name IgniteHER, you people have been ignited. I would really love to be in the same room with these women sometime again, but I had so much fun. And I can see the ladies, I see their comments. I know that they had so much fun. So to wrap this up, I'm going to give you like 1 minute each to tell us like a parting word. What is it that you want to tell us that going forward, as we know that you have a lot to share, but you're not able to share, but something that you know that if like maybe a mantra or something that has kept you going. We start with Stella, then Dr. Wala, and it will be a wrap. All right, let's have it.
Okay. So one thing I would want to say to wrap this up is this: as women, we should be supporters of women. The world has pushed us back for a very long time, just like Dr. Wala said, where we think we can be everything to everyone. You're not gala, you're not ice cream. You cannot be everything to everyone. Put yourself first. Put yourself first. And then I believe this is the last part where we get to talk.
Yeah.
So I am a key believer in empowering other women. I so much believe in that. And that's why I have my Telegram group where I teach business owners. That's what I do inside. It's for free. Then even on my Instagram, that's what I do. Then I just recently released my book, Lessons Learned While Building an African Beauty Brand. So you can check it on my website, www.stellandekile, just my name, stellandekile.com. So the book is there. There are e-copies and there are hard copies. Just 13 chapters breaking down things I have seen, lessons I have learned, mistakes I have made, and how we were able to navigate out of them. Because the truth is this: you mustn't fail to learn. You can learn from other people's story and avoid some unnecessary failures that you don't have to. So ladies, please, let's help each other out, hold each other's hands, because you can't know it all. It's not possible. And one thing she said that stood out, Dr. Wala said that stood out for me, is the network of people you have. Join networks that make sense. So I know we're supposed to be very fast, but I want to say this. I am in the United States right now for a trade exhibition because of a group I belong to named Her Economy. An opportunity comes out and they reach out to me, Stella, can you go to the United States? I say, I don't have a visa. I said, don't worry, we're going to give you an invitation letter and all that. Right now, the event is over. I'm in the United States because of a group of like-minded women I belong to. Please do not take these groups or network of people for granted. You're not an island. Nobody will know who you are until other people are able to speak in rooms where you cannot step in. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Stella. Dr. Wala, you can go ahead, please.
Yeah, so thank you, Stella, also for that. My coach told me, okay, how do you rate your business? And I said, oh, I'm an SME, small and medium enterprise. And she said, no, you're a small and medium SQs because you are still thinking local. So they say, build your brand. Make sure that you're building it for a global market. So think global, act local, or is it act local, think global? Because you have to have the end in mind for you to put in the work to get you to the end in mind. The other thing I tell people is talk about your stuff. You don't know who's listening. You don't know who's watching. Talk about, and talking doesn't mean you need to be personal. I get very personal, and some people find that uncomfortable, but you don't have to let us into your own personal life, but talk about your brand because you're your biggest marketer. And from this talking, start sharing because it's a digital market. You would be talking how many continents over here. And last but not least, it is to believe in yourself. If you do not believe in yourself, no matter how many coaching sessions, no matter how many, you have to believe in what you're offering solutions. And finally, that's two finals. Know when to fold up. Yeah, know when to fold up. I was told by my coach, you are going to die passionately poor because you're so passionate about many things, but you're not making money out of it. So I stopped offering free services. I stopped attending things that do not add value to my network and net worth. And that's because I was a yes, madam, yes, I'll do this, yes, I'll do this, because that's my personality. And she made me see the value of putting a price
on my skills, on my time, without feeling ashamed. So there's once I released a red card about my influencing capabilities, and the internet went ballistic. I said, how dare you give such a prize? You only have this number of, I said, oh, you're comparing yourself with this person and she has a better following. I said, they are not me. So I believed in myself, and this is what I thought was worth my value at the time. And this is what I'm going to charge. And guess what? Clients came with that red card that they were saying was too much. So know your value and add tax on it. Thank you.
Add tax on it. Awesome. Something I just want to mention quickly before we wrap up. Something both of you said is also network, community, mentorship, because you kept mentioning your coach. Stella mentioned a group she belonged in that helped her. So I think it's also very important women to know that, I mean, you play impactor women, so you play in a community, but there's one thing about being a community. There's another thing about being an active member of the community, because it's when you're active there. I'm sure that if Stella was not active or she's not even giving any value, they cannot tell her to, okay, come and go to US. So you want to bring that, I mean, all together. From morning till now, I've just been saying explosive, and people will be wondering, don't I know any other English? But that's because that's just all I feel. I'm asking myself, how did we even, like, we should take our flowers. How did we choose such talented, knowledgeable people? You people are to bomb, like, people are, I'm not even saying it because I want, as you go home, to really sit and tell yourself, I've done a good work. I know my onion. I've inspired people, because we are sure inspired. And if there's nothing, I'm very sure that other things will happen in your day, but something you should acknowledge today, that we are over, 500. There are people here, there are people on the YouTube session, there are people that are going to watch replay. So you don't even know the number of people that watch this at the end, but know that you've been able to inspire different people from different countries, and this should make you proud of yourself and how far you've come. Thank you so much, Stella. Thank you so much, Dr. Wala, for sharing your time. I know that we are 17 minutes past time. I see the ladies. I see please say thank you to our wonderful panelists. Thank you. There's a lot of comments here we really, really appreciate. And again, like I said, in the nearest future, we don't know when, would like to have you all, have you both. Maybe it might not be a panel session, it might be one-on-one. I don't know what we are going to do. We are going to figure it out. But thank you so much. Please, Impact Our Women, let me not forget, very important, please follow them. Stella, they were asking for your Telegram group. I don't know if you have the link, but you can follow Dr. Wala. Dr. Wala is on Facebook. She's also on Instagram and on LinkedIn. So just search her name, Dr. Wala Amakovi, and you're going to see how you can follow her. Please don't just follow them just like that. Comment, let them know that Impact How Women came, right? And then for Stella, you don't just follow, you know that there's also Nubian Beauty products you should start buying, right? So she has the Nubian Beauty page. She has Stella, like her personal page. So you can follow both and make sure that you engage and you find a way to learn. Ladies, I can't say it enough. Thank you so much. We wish it. Ladies, the women, please don't leave. I know that they are very busy people, so I'm trying to wrap up so they can go and enjoy the rest of their day. Thank you so much for joining us. Do have a great day. Thank you. Okay, ladies, let's tell them bye. Bye. All right, great. Thank you. Okay, ladies, I am so sure. Okay, Stella, please, she has gone. I wanted to ask her to drop. Okay, so since she was not able to drop her page. So, her Telegram link. Maybe when you go to her page, you're going to see that. Ladies, I am so sure that you enjoyed today as much as I did, or even more. But again, I keep saying it, and I'm sure that people will believe me right now, because people can see the progression, that it only gets better. It only gets better. Day one, I'm sure that you can see how explosive today. I am ignited. Like, if this is all I do, if we even stop the program here, I am ready to go. But guess what? There is still more where this is coming from. Tomorrow, we are going to be looking at targeting emerging markets. So some of you have done well. You're trying to enter new markets, right? We have a great speaker that is going to be teaching us that. And not only that, we still have sessions, workshop sessions, where you people now will start speaking. People can now talk. We're going to have breakout rooms where we are going to put details about that on your WhatsApp group. So again, to the moderators, the chat room moderators, please put the WhatsApp link, because that is where we are going to put details of the breakout session. So please come and that breakout session will be fun, because you get voice out. It's not going to be a room like this. It's going to be where all of you can speak, right? And you can exchange. And we have another panel session tomorrow where you're going to learn about the power of networking. Trust me, it doesn't get better than this. It keeps getting better. Also, for announcements, remember that we have gifts that would keep rolling out. I said, I've seen here, I'm not the moderator, so I can't announce it. But today, someone that I've seen a lot is Lisbeth. I don't know if you're doing it, I'm just saying. But we have a special gift, which is the Rebrand Her package that I said is worth $. And we are going to tell you what that gift is at the end. But we are going to be having 5 people that are going to win that package. And it's something that is going to blow up your business. So make sure that you are there. Also, we promised you people when you were registering for this that there will be a virtual showcase. And we keep to our promise. We never promise and fail. So when you check on your group, you're going to see the directions for the virtual showcase. If you're interested in showcasing your business and making the lots of people here to see it, please send a short, I think it's a 60 seconds video. Just tell us what your business, you should be interested in, show us your products, and then add the links or how people can get access to buy. And we are going to choose the best ones, and we are going to also be streaming that. Also, as I said, the points you have noted, ensure to execute them, not just note them. And then please put those points on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and any of the platforms. And please tag us and also tag the speakers. Let them know that you follow through. So sorry, I'm trying to see if there's any announcements that I've not touched. So just give me a second. I'm so sorry. Give me a second. Okay, and yes, you also have another gift. So at the beginning of tomorrow's session, for the first 2 minutes, right, we are going to have 2 people that will give us a recap of today's session, everything that happened today. So if that is you, if you want to be that person to give a recap, at the end, how we are going to do it is going to be like a game. I know that people will say we did not do our quiz today. Not to worry, we still have 2 days more. Don't worry, we are going to do our quiz. There's going to be a winner. On Saturday, we are going to be mostly by ourselves. So we are going to have the time. For the recap tomorrow, we are going to have 2 people give a recap, and we are going to do a poll session. And whoever you decide is the winner is going to be getting a gift. Again, thank you all so much for being such a wonderful audience, right? I enjoyed being your moderator. I enjoyed being here. I love the flow. Before we close for today, I just want us to go back to the ignited vibe and energy. So please give me your ignited, like the flames, the fire, the emojis. Let's end on a good note, and then we can wrap it up. I want to see the fire, a lot of emojis, energy. And I'm seeing Chinelo, like this. I mean, I'm seeing Chinelo a lot on the chat, but thank you so much for thanking me. I mean, it would not be interesting without all of you. So I had so much fun. Yes, this is the emojis. I would not want to end the session without thanking everybody on the team, the moderators, the people on social media. I have Ayomide Eukaria. I'm calling the people I'm seeing. Grace, sorry, give me a second. Ayomide Eukaria, Grace. There's Jude. Oh my God, Judith and Dana, wonderful interpreters for the French people. Thank you so much. There is Odun. There's Timothy, there's Amakri, there's Adiolu Ibrahim. There are people on YouTube, which is Blessing. I'm not sure I remember the other person, but even if I missed your name, so all the Impact Heart team that have been working in the background to make this a success, people managing WhatsApp, thank you so much for today's session. Till tomorrow, do stay ignited. Bye-bye, ladies. Kisses, I love you all. Bye-bye. See you.